this year, my 76th year, I've been setting myself the question, relevant or redundant? And, because often there's so much disruption around the world and in businesses and leadership, and people are being made redundant, hand over fist everywhere, which is really, really disturbing. So, so it kind of prompted the question for me. It's like, well, am I relevant or am I redundant? And if I'm redundant, then I better find a way to do something else so that I can be more relevant. So it's always been that match. And at the moment, the Papua New Guinea story is that we discovered this area of rainforest and we went into an area where no white people had been before. So it was a bit of a shock for them. It was a shock for us. Funnily enough, there's a Sir David Attenborough documentary, which I've only just recently discovered, and it's called A Blank on the Map. So look it up because it's wonderful. It's a wonderful piece of filming. It was his first nature documentary, which he filmed in 1970, which was kind of 20 years before we arrived in the same place. Yes. And it's got original footage of the first contact with Europeans and Papua New Guineans. So it's really, really worth looking at. But we discovered this area of rainforest, which we walked in. We also then discovered it was under threat by the biggest industrial logging operation in Papua New Guinea at the time. And through the medium of theatre, because Papua New Guinea are a storytelling culture, we just happened to be invited into the National Theatre Company in Papua New Guinea, wonderful man called William Takaku. And he then helped us navigate up the Sepik and found a local theatre troupe that helped us create a piece of theatre that went on tour by dugout canoe to help raise the awareness to the local tribes people in their own cultural fashion, the dangers and the benefits of where they live, what they have, and what might happen if they don't take care of it. So actually, the power of theatre was one of those moments where we absolutely made a difference.
And to borrow from that Hamlet line, to show as 'twere the mirror up to nature, that's just absolutely perfect. The essence of that.
Exactly it. Yeah. So, so now what I'm currently doing, because, this 2,000 square miles of virgin rainforest, which is still standing to this day, and we're still very much in touch with the people. In fact, we've had 5 Papua New Guinea visitors over from the remote area to our remote village in Suffolk. So we've got this cultural, we call it global kinship. But now we're actually working with the World Heritage Site Organization to secure this area as a World Heritage Site, because that will give it long-term protection.
I love the notion of global kinship as opposed to a village sign that says twinned with, because normally you've got somewhere like Upton cum Kexby twinned with Paris, and you always think, well, actually, probably Paris has got the rum deal there. Whereas you've got a wonderful global kinship in what you've just described.
Yeah. I mean, and of course, what it is, it's an exchange of culture, because when we went into Papua New Guinea, we didn't go with the colonial attitude of, teaching these silly natives to behave better. We actually went in really to learn, to listen, to understand. And, the amount of learning that we've had. And of course, now that's mutual. Yes. Because when the tribes people came over to see us in the year 2000, we had to take care, because it took us 3 or 4 years to help them do the transition. We didn't just say, here's a plane, jump on it, come over here. So, there was a real cultural level of learning and understanding, and it's such a rich opportunity.
And there's the currency of deep listening is in there as well, which is obviously about leadership and coaching and proper deep, and the best theatre is when all protagonists are in a deep listening state.
Yes, and that's exactly what we do, and for me it's always about listening, seeking to understand rather than judge. So therefore curiosity has to be one of the top values.
So it's curiosity saved the cat as opposed to killed the cat because you're curious.
Very much so. Very much so.
I'm going to arrive with a tree now in your clearing, and you'll enjoy this because it's of our theatre background. It's very deliberately existentially Becketty. I'm going to shake your tree to see which storytelling apples fall out. How do you like these apples? And this is where you've been kind enough, before we spoke a couple of weeks ago to prepare for this, to have thought about 4 things that have shaped you, 3 things that inspire you, 2 things that never fail to grab your attention. And that's borrowed from the film Up, where the dog goes, oh, squirrels. So that's going to be your 2 monsters of distraction. And then the 1 is a quirky or unusual fact about you, Nigel Hughes. We couldn't possibly know about you until you tell us. None of this is a memory test, so I'll curate you through it.
Thank you.
If you're happy to go in the right order, could I first of all get you on the open road of shaking the canopy of your tree with 4 things that have shaped you, first of all?